All right, my name is Brock Page, and we are 6-0 in our last six $1.99 daily best plays on BrockPage.com. And if you want to access today's $1.99 daily best play, the link for that bet is in the description section below. $1,000 bettors are now up over $5,400 during that stretch. Now, if you want to see my personal bet record, you can actually do that right now for free by going to BrockPage.com. My record's located right there on the homepage. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on my YouTube channel and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. And what I do on BrockPage.com is actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks that I'm actually betting on personally. We currently have over 900 members who are signed up and active on that website right now. And just remember, guys, if you sign up for a package here today on BrockPage.com, you're actually going to get access to that membership every single day, all the way through the end of March. Certainly hot at the right time. But with that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to start off with North Carolina taking on Baylor, 12:10 p.m. Eastern tip-off on Saturday, March 19th, 2022. Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully you had a great Friday night. And once again, hopefully you're not too hungover here today because we got a great slate of games. Now, Baylor's -6 in this matchup here. Total's 148.5. But despite being favored by a couple of buckets here, the Bears are going to have to go to work without one of their leading scorers, LJ Cryer. He's actually out today with a foot injury. And even when they're mostly healthy, the Bears do have a tough time shooting from the foul line. These guys are making just 69% of their shots from the stripe. I know that doesn't seem all that important, but in a game like this, it could be clutch. Now, covering-wise, these guys failed to cover in 3 out of their last 5 neutral site contests. They're taking on a North Carolina team who lost only 2 ball games since February 5th. And they covered the point spread in 73% of their contests during that time frame. Armando Bacot, he's scoring 16.5 points per contest, along with over a dozen big rebounds. Meanwhile, Caleb Love is scoring over 15.5 points per game himself, along with 3 boards and 3 assists. And when it comes to offensive production, the Tar Heels are averaging 80 points a game away from Chapel Hill this season. Certainly no problem for them scoring away from home. When it comes to rebounding the basketball, well, there's really not many in the tourney who do it better offensively than UNC. These guys are currently in the top 20 in the nation in offensive rebounds per contest. Now, total-wise, 4 out of UNC's last 6 neutral site games got over the posted number. They're also 12-5 to the over in all of their contests away from home. Meanwhile, Baylor, on the other side of things, they saw overs recently with the likes of Oklahoma, Iowa State, and Kansas. I'm going to lean toward UNC +6 in the over 148.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Creighton versus Kansas, 2:40 p.m. East. Kansas is -11, totals 139.5. Now, the Jayhawks won their last 6 straight. They failed to cover only once during that stretch. As a matter of fact, Kansas has gone 8-1 straight up in all of their neutral site contests this season. They're also amongst the better scoring teams in all of college basketball. The Jayhawks are averaging nearly 80 points a game. They also find themselves in the top 15 in the country in offensive field goal percentage. Ochai Agbaji is averaging almost 20 points a game, along with 5 rebounds and 40% shooting from three-land. Meanwhile, Christian Braun is drilling 40% of his three-pointers himself. He's also averaging 14 points a game. Now, when it comes to defensive play in this one, well, the Jayhawks have also been real tough on their opponents guarding the 3-ball. They're actually limiting their competition to just 29% shooting from beyond the arc this year. Now, they're taking on a Creighton school who shoots just 28% from three-land away from home themselves, so that could potentially be a pretty bad combination here for the Blue Jays And in addition to that, they're averaging only 65 points a game when they travel. So certainly some significant offensive problems for Creighton away from home. Now the Blue Jays are also going to work without their big man. I'm talking about big 7'1" sophomore Ryan Kalkbrenner, who's out for the year with a knee injury. And that's certainly going to be a problem because even when they're mostly healthy, the Blue Jays have had their issues grabbing defensive boards this year away from home. Now, total-wise, 5 out of Creighton's last 7 fell under the posted number. Meanwhile, Kansas went 60% to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Kansas minus 11 and the under 139.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Michigan versus Tennessee. That's going to be a 5:15 Eastern start time. Tennessee's -6 with a total at 136.5. Now, Tennessee's won their last 8 straight, and they're actually playing some of the toughest defense in all of college basketball right now. The Vols allow only 62 points per contest, and they're holding their opponents to just 39% shooting from the field. Now, offensively, Kennedy Chandler, he's averaging over 13.5 points per contest. He also does a pretty nice job shooting the basketball from downtown. And speaking of which, Santi Vescovi, he's drilling 41% of his three-pointers. He's also averaging 13.5 points a game. Now, they're taking on a Michigan team who actually has a losing record away from home this year, and they've struggled at times guarding the field goal. Matter of fact, the Wolverines, they're currently allowing nearly 72 points per contest away from the Chrysler Center this year. When it comes to the total, Michigan saw unders recently with the likes of Iowa and Rutgers. Meanwhile, Tennessee went 60% to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Tennessee -6 and the under 136 and a hook. All right, next ball game. It is going to be Richmond versus Providence, 6:10 p.m. East. Providence is -3 with a total at 134.5. Now, the Friars do rebound the basketball significantly better than Richmond. And when it comes to defensive play, the Friars allow only 66 points per contest and just 31% shooting from three-land. Now, scoring-wise, on the other end of the court, Nate Watson is scoring over 13.5 points per contest, along with 5 rebounds. Meanwhile, Jared Bynum's making 41% of his three-pointers. He's also scoring over a dozen points a game. Now, they're taking on a Richmond team who failed to cover against the likes of Rhode Island, St. Bonaventure, and St. Louis. The Spiders are also amongst the worst in the Atlantic 10 in offensive rebounding per contest. When it comes to the number in this one, Richmond went 6-2 to the under in their last 8. Meanwhile, Providence saw 3 out of their last 5 neutral site contests fall under the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward Providence -3 and the under 134.5. All right, next ball game. It is going to be St. Mary's versus UCLA, 7:10 p.m. Eastern start time. UCLA is -3 with the total at 126. Now, the Bruins have lost only 2 games since February 12th, and they posted a record of 12-6 straight up in all of their contests away from home this year. Johnny Juzang is averaging over 15.5 points per contest, along with 4 rebounds. Meanwhile, Tiger Campbell has been the long ball threat here for the Bruins. He's shooting 41% from three-land this year. He's also averaging nearly a dozen points a game. Now, when it comes to the scoring in this one, the Bruins are averaging 76 points per contest this year. Meanwhile, defensively on the other end of the court, they're allowing only 64 points per contest as well. Not a lot of folks talking about the defensive play of UCLA, but they've been really tight on the defensive end of the court. Now, they're taking on a St. Mary's team who's scoring only 64 points a game away from home this year. When it comes to shooting the 3 ball, the Gales are making only 32% of their shots from beyond the arc. Now, when it comes to neutral site contests, St. Mary's actually failed to cover in 4 out of their last 7 games in that particular category. When it comes to the scoring in this one, the Gales' last 3 straight did actually get over the posted number. St. Mary's is also 60% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, UCLA saw 5 out of their last 7 get over the posted total themselves. I'm going to lean toward UCLA -3 in the over 126. All right, next matchup, St. Peter's versus Murray State, 7:45 East. Murray State's -8 with a total at 130. And for those who don't already know, Murray State's 30-2 right now for the entire season. 30 wins and just 2 losses for the entire year. And they're actually amongst the best scoring teams in the tourney. The Racers are averaging nearly 80 points per contest. They currently find themselves in the top 20 in the country in shooting from the field. KJ Williams is making 55% of his field goals. He's also averaging 18 points a game. Meanwhile, Tevin Brown is making nearly 40% of his three-pointers. He's also scoring 16 points a game himself. Now, when it comes to defensive play in this one, well, Murray State's in the top 25 in defensive boards as well. And they're actually limiting their competition to only 62 points a game. So this is a team that's very well-rounded on both ends of the court. They're taking on a St. Peter's team who scores just 67 points a game themselves, and they're making only 68% of their free throws. Certainly a struggle for these guys getting on the scoreboard, especially playing in that Metro Athletic Conference. Just got to keep that in mind. These guys don't score a lot of points, and they don't score a lot of points against bad competition. And even though the Peacocks are red hot right now, their last loss came to Siena, where they allowed 84 points to the Saints in that defeat. Now, total-wise, St. Pete's did see overs recently with the likes of Kentucky, Fairfield, and Siena. Meanwhile, Murray State saw their last 2 straight get over the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward Murray State -8 in the over 130. Next game, New Mexico State versus Arkansas, 8:40 p.m. East. Arkansas is -6.5, totals 138. And even though Arkansas is one of the better covering teams in the nation, they did fail to cover in 4 out of their last 7 neutral site contests. And as good as Arkansas has been offensively this year, they've actually been little threat shooting from long range. The Razorbacks are making just 30% of their three-pointers for the entire season. Now, they're taking on a New Mexico State team who shocked the world by beating UConn in the opening round. The Aggies also got the W in 7 out of their last 9 ball games, and they're winning 70% of their contests away from their home court. Now, offensively, Teddy Allen scoring just about 20 points a game, along with 6 rebounds and a couple assists. Meanwhile, Sir Jabari Rice is scoring over a dozen points a game himself, along with 5 boards and 3 assists. And speaking of boards, well, there's really not many teams in college basketball who do it better defensively than the Aggies. New Mexico State is currently in the top 15 in the nation in defensive rebounding per contest. They're also limiting their competition to just 39% shooting from the field. Now, total-wise, New Mexico State is 5-1 of the over in their last 6 at a neutral site court. Meanwhile, Arkansas saw 5 out of their last 7 neutral site games get over the line themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward New Mexico State +6.5 in the over 138. With that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup of the show. It is going to be Memphis versus Gonzaga, 9:40 Eastern start time. Gonzaga is -10 with a total at 155.5. And despite an impressive second-half effort in the round of 64, the Gonzaga Bulldogs have really had a tough time covering the point spread here lately. They're just 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 ball games, with failures to cover coming against the likes of San Francisco, Santa Clara, and Pepperdine. They're taking on a gritty Memphis team who lost only 2 games since January 20th. They've covered the point spread in over 73% of their ball games during that time frame. Jalen Duren, he's scoring over a dozen points a game he's scoring over a dozen points a game, and he's also making 61% of his field goals. Meanwhile, DeAndre Williams, he's averaging 11 points a game himself, along with 5 rebounds and 57% shooting from the field as well. And speaking of shooting the basketball, Memphis is making nearly 48% of their field goals as a team. They're also averaging over 75 points per contest. Now, total-wise, the Tigers saw overs recently with the likes of Central Florida, USF, and Temple. Meanwhile, Gonzaga saw their last 2 straight get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward Memphis plus 10 in the over 155. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on BrockPage.com. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on my website, just keep in mind, you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on BrockPage.com, you're going to get access to those picks all the way through the end of March. I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. So once again, guys, if you sign up for a membership here today, you're going to get access to those picks every single day all the way through the end of March, just for the one-time fee of what you end up paying here today. And once again, guys, I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And guys, if you want to get access to every single bet that I give out on that website, you're going to want to sign up for my board member package. That is an all-inclusive membership. Board members get access to every single bet that I give out on that channel, on that website, every single day, all the way through the end of March as well. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, guys, happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at BrockPage.com.